September 27th, Officer Stewart here with the Special Forces. We have a murder out here on the farm. The call just came in. I'm getting something from forensics right now. Says that might be ketchup, but we can't be sure yet until all the detectives come out. I rounded up people from all over the state to come investigate this, so hopefully we'll have some answers here in the next few hours. They are set to come at 4 o'clock. Isn't it nice having the barn this clean? Why can't I keep it like that year round? I don't know. Well, that was a very fun and successful farm party for the third year in a row. Had a lot of people turn out, a lot of people had fun. The murder mystery was difficult enough that only 3 people got the correct name for the murderer and a lot of wrong answers, so that was kind of fun. I'll walk through the game tomorrow with you guys, but still a few people here. We got the fire going in the far back of the property now, letting that front fire go out and just enjoying the evening. Beautiful, clear, stars are out. Gorgeous evening. I love having all the tiki torches lit up along this path. It is just about midnight. The party's wrapping up. Just a couple people left here. Gonna close the pigs in. They were very good. Someone kind of half closed it here. I like latching it anymore. With a little clip, makes me feel a little better at night, because my last batch of pigs managed to nuzzle it open. Can't do it while I'm holding you guys, so it's kind of hard. And got it. Bit of a struggle. But anyways, just picking up. I think I got most of the equipment up at this point, and that's the main thing. I'll pick up chairs, bales, random other things tomorrow, and we will go from there. But it was a lot of fun. Really had a good time. I think everybody else had a really nice time too. Good morning, everyone. Today is September 28th, the day after the farm party. It was a bit of a late night, but it was still probably earlier than the past 2 years, so that was nice. I think I still got to bed around 1:30 or 2 though, but anyways, the middle school teacher that was hatching chicks alongside me called this morning and wanted to drop the chicks off. So she should be here any minute, but I just don't see her yet. She said she'd be here about 9:50, but we're a little past that. So just kind of waiting on her. We'll get the chicks. I think she said she had 8 hatch, which is cool. So that brings the total up to 51. So we'll see. Maybe she had more hatch, but that was the last I heard on the numbers. So anyways, I wasn't planning on doing much until later this afternoon, but since I'm already here with the chicks doing stuff, I might as well get some other things done. So my barn that was nice and clean is a little messy once again. So I would like to keep this barn clean if at all possible, so probably do some cleaning on that. But it's gonna be a pretty relaxing day, just picking up from the party and waiting on these chicks. Here she is. All right, so now we've got all the chicks here. We've split them 50-50 between the 2 tubs. And there's one named Hulk. It's, I don't know why my camera's not focusing. There it is. But that one back there, that white one, that one's named Hulk. So it's the only name I got. But split them between the 2 tubs here, so they're gonna outgrow these pretty quickly. But we did a quick walk around the farm. She brought her whole family, so saw the pigs, saw the chickens, and just enjoyed the morning. So I'm glad that worked out, where we were able to meet up out here and hand off the chicks. I'm gonna run through the game from last night, the murder mystery. Some things aren't quite set up how they used to be, but we'll just kind of play it out. We already picked the mannequin up. She's a little dismembered at the moment, but pretend she's back together. So the evidence people needed to find out there was this, first off, which was a note. It said, "Hey, I saw you working on the farm this week. If you need any help, give me a call. By the way, I think you're cute. Little heart. This guy named Jefferson." Also out there, you found a license which belonged to her, and her name was Lily Reeds. And it had address, description, typical license. I don't know, it was in a purse. I don't see where the purse went, so if I find it, I'll show you. I'll probably just pop the license up on the screen, but those were the 2 things that you found in the first scene. And people had to call that number. I set up a Google Voice number that got people to have a conversation with this guy named Jefferson. It was pre-recorded. I'll also pop that up.
Hey, this is Jefferson. No, I never come over and helped her at the farm, but we talked a few times last night. She said she was having a bonfire way out at the edge of her property with some guy named Joe or Jim or something like that. So, yeah. All right, not a problem. Talk to you. Bye.
After listening to that message from Jefferson, he mentions a bonfire at the back of the property with some person named Joe or Jim. He wasn't sure, so that would lead people to the far back corner of the property. Once people made it out here, it looked a little more chaotic. We actually did have a fire out here last night, but we had chairs tipped over, we had a random shirt, we had tiki torches laying around just to make it look like something happened. Umbrellas over. I don't even know if all the props are out here anymore, but we ran across this sign. It said it looks like Jefferson's right about the bonfire, but also looks like there's more to the story. Basically inviting people to look around. It's just the narrator. So out here you found a couple things. One, there was a torch with the number 4 on it. So as long as people took good notes, they would have found that. There was a ring box out here. I think that got picked up, but it said Justin Kolb and a date, sold to Justin Kolb. And we had marshmallow sticks around the fire. What else was out here? Oh, there was a cell phone that was left on the bench. And that basically, there's a text message thread on there, and it's just kept mentioning a letter. And it was Justin's phone that he had left. And some guy named Jeremy was texting him, asking if he got the letter, along those lines. So basically, just kept mentioning a letter to lead people toward the mailbox. Once you got to the mailbox, you found a letter. Why is my phone not focusing today? There. From some guy named Jeremy Reeds. I just found a random address and used it. To Lily Reeds. And when you open up the letter, down here on the ground so you can see it easy. It says, "Hey Lil, gotta lay low. Found a buyer, JD Stones. How are the plants doing? Keep the grow room hot, growing big, fertilizer, getting some money." So from this letter, people can figure out, okay, grow room is probably the next clue, and Lily is doing some bad stuff, growing something else, a little unconventional on a farm. So I had people heading up to the grow room, and just in case people were unfamiliar with the layout, I think most people were, we did put grow room up there. So people were heading upstairs. A little hard to get around because there's a lot of stuff that needs picked up, but we're working on it. I did have this fan blowing up for a little bit of ventilation. Get the lights on here. So when you come up here, you run across this, and this is a note from the murderer. I think you're pretty smart. I wrote all this with my left hand, trying to make it look creepy. My left hand was tired after all the writing. But anyway, how many letters in the last name? How many marshmallow sticks are on the fire pit? Third number address. What was the number of the propane torch? I did have a little thing where the numbers weren't in order. It was 1243 was the code. This was just a hint up here. I had that on the original board, but I think 5445 got it right. So it would give you a red light. It automatically locks after 10 seconds or something, but if you were to punch in the wrong code, it's red, so it just looks good. Once you're in this room, we had it set up like a grow room, and we had another narrator note. Murderer thinks he's clever. Look around, try and find something. So I just tried to make it look as messy as possible. These pictures were actually from when I was farm managing at another farm. Those were some of my dairy cows there. This is random, but this is Candy. It was the dumbest cow I ever knew. This was our chicken coop. It was a mobile one. There's some of our chickens. We had Buff Orpingtons, and I caught a rooster crowing, so I had to get a picture of that. So yeah, we tried to make it just look messy. Something happened. There's some bullets. We have some grow lights. We have some fertilizer in here. Fertilizer schedule. Had some scales. All of this stuff. It felt really weird buying this book. I feel like I'm put on a list now. And then some more cow pictures. That was a sweet little Juliet. And Shauna, she was our lead cow. She was sweet, she died. Anyways, so we had a note from the murderer, just kind of antagonizing you there. I had the game ending at 7:30, but over here was the real thing. Tomato hornworms, UV light. So I had this flashlight sitting here. You pop that on, and there is a message that you can read in invisible ink. So this is Lily writing, said help, I can hear him, I'm going to the garden, going to hide in the garden. So Lily reads. So people had to find that, and then that would lead them to the garden. My dad got better video than me because he got it before the party started, so everything was set up. So I'll probably put a couple of those videos up so you can kind of see it better. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. People had a good time with it. I didn't want to make it too hard, but I also didn't want to make it too easy. So there were, 10 people that at least put in a name for the murderer. And only 3 people got it right. So out of those 3 people, then I went and did tiebreakers, where I asked a question from each of the stations, because you could jump around and maybe miss 1 or 2 and piece things together and come up with the murderer's name. But in order to be the best detective, you really had to know everything. So some of the questions were like, what was the combination to get in the grow room upstairs? Some people, if they snuck in with someone else, didn't do the questions, they wouldn't have known the answer, so we got that. Another one was, what disorder did the murderer most likely suffer from? I had a pill bottle out there at the final scene that had his first name on there, and it was Caplyta, so some sort of bipolar depression, something like that. So yeah, I just had a bunch of random tiebreaker questions, and that really narrowed it down pretty quick, and you could tell who accidentally skipped over some evidence or clues that they really needed to see. So we did have one definitive winner, which was fun. So they went home with $100 worth of products. So it was some chicken, bacon, sausage, egg bread, tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, a tote bag, honey, a large honey, probably some other stuff, whatever added up to $100 basically. So it was a lot of fun. I got a lot of good feedback on it. So it took me a while to kind of come up with that. I wanted to do a murder mystery, but I didn't know much about it. I didn't want people to have specific roles. I didn't want people to feel like they were forced to play it. It was just a solo play at your leisure. If you went around with a blank piece of paper and started piecing things together. So it was a lot of fun, but it definitely took some work to try and figure out how the game would work. But every year I do a different theme. So the past couple years have been lighter, happier themes. So we went with a darker theme this year to switch it up. But we'll see what next year brings. I had a lot of fun. I was blinking it's over. I wish it lasted a little longer, but it was a really good time. It's early, but I'm not going to be back out here till later today. Like I said, I got to get some eggs over to that grocery store, and that takes a while. And then I want to visit some family later, so I'm going to do some light chores, just halfway feed and water things. Then I'll come back this evening and actually do chores and get everything moved. Got the eggs dropped off. It looks like they're out of them. I've heard that they were out as of Thursday just from customers, so they're going through them. We've got another gorgeous evening unfolding here on the farm. Chores are done. I'm actually going to reset these doors. It's not even 8 o'clock and most of the chickens are up. I don't remember what I currently have these solar doors set on, but it's definitely not 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna back it off probably about 15-20 minutes so these doors close a little earlier and the chickens are safer. I currently do have the hose on and in the pig's water bucket, so I will not forget this time. I did straighten it up and put some rocks underneath since they drank it down enough, and it was semi-dry, so I was able to get in there and do some work. So at least that's sitting back upright. But while I'm waiting on that to fill up, I'm gonna switch these doors over. Doors are now set to close at 8:15. It's currently 7:52, so there's only maybe 2 chickens running around, roosters primarily, so that should be much safer for them. But other than that, I think we're done for the day. Howdy y'all, today is October 3rd, it's a Friday, so I am working on getting this all set up for the farmer's market. I have the farm open every Friday 4 to 6. That barn is huge back there, making some good progress. But anyways, I did pick one tiny little thing of popcorn, so you can kind of see all the colors in there. Really pretty. It is tiny. Popcorn is generally smaller than regular ear corn, so that seems really tiny though. But that's my first time growing popcorn. I have yet to pop it, so I'm interested to see how it does on that. But this right here is just going to be used for decoration today. Where I'm going to put it, I don't know, but slowly getting this all set up. I took a pretty good break this week just from all the farm stuff, which was pretty nice, so really haven't gotten a lot done, but I'm going to hit it hard this week. I still need to pick up stuff from the party, get the fluid out of the tiki torches, get the tiki torches put up, pick up the chairs. There's still some games out. I really need to start thinking about winter coming up and all these coops, getting those ready for all the chickens, and just a lot of things coming up, as well as the final chicken slaughter for the Cornish Cross. So I'll probably do that this weekend. It's kind of set up. But I only have, I think, 20 birds because something got about 10 of them when they were chicks in that coop out there. I'm thinking it was mice, but don't really know. So anyways, still got some stuff to do and work on. Here walking around the garden. A lot of it is done, at least the first couple rows of tomatoes here, but the next few over are looking pretty good. I'm done with my tomatoes as far as taking care of them. I have been done for a while on that. But they're still producing, mostly just the cherries. Nothing else is doing much, maybe a little bit of San Marzano. The popcorn up there looks nice. I have yet to pick much of that. But today, my dad was out here and we did start picking some of this corn. Up front, it looks better than what it did in the back. I have a few sunflowers that were in there, but most of it's pretty spindly. Looking like this, not a lot on it. I mean, it has an ear, looks halfway decent size, but I think they were planted way too close together. I don't have a great seeder for this, and I wasn't gonna hand plant it. Look at that big spider in there. Let's see if it'll zoom in on him. Probably not. Those orb weavers. You can kind of see it. See if I can get a picture later. But so yeah, started picking this. It's just not that great, but it was a nice little wall. It was something. So it would feed the pigs for, I don't know, maybe 2 days. I haven't shucked everything yet, but we'll see. So this is everything that is not picked yet, which is about half. And then the half back here is what has been picked. That's maybe a little under half. So we've got all this picked and then mowed down, but you can see where it was planted. It just came up really close. So the corn didn't really have a great chance. I mean, look at that. There's 3 right there, 2 there, 2 there. I just had a little seeder with a wheel on it. I set it to corn, but it was still spitting seeds out a little too much, so I'll probably plug those up next time I do it. But yeah, not a great harvest out of this, but we've got a little something, so better than nothing. Got a little food for the animals, know where it came from, nice and organic, and it was also kind of a fence barrier, wind block, so not a waste at all. Farm's open for about another 5 minutes, so I'll pick everything up here in just a little bit. I was looking around for some Irish Spring soap because I need to put that around my trees so the deer don't tear them up. I forgot 2 years ago, and they killed 2 trees and almost a 3rd one, so I don't have too terribly many nice trees left, but what I do have, I want to keep them nice, so got to get some soap. I really wish it would focus in on that spider better, but it is right in the middle, right there. It would actually focus with my finger a little better. But you see that there's actually a mosquito that landed on that spider's back and sitting there sucking its blood. I have never before seen that in my life. Let's see if I can get that to focus in the mosquito. Maybe if I zoom in a little more. You'll see it though. Get my finger back in there. See that mosquito? That's crazy. I never thought about mosquitoes sucking spiders' blood. That's kind of creepy. Learn something new every day. When I went back to take a picture of it, I saw that thing land on it, and that was a bit of a shock. That's beautiful out there. It's just a tiny little rain cell. Zoom in, you can see it coming down a little better. That is gorgeous. What a beautiful evening it is out. Can't even feel the temperature. Even though I don't have soap bars, I do have the tree guards, so I will go ahead and put those on. This poor tree here, it has actually grown quite a bit. It's getting pretty tall, but you can see during rutting season, the deer like marking trees, rubbing their antlers, getting frisky, so they destroyed this half of the tree. I'm really surprised that it's alive, but they left just enough on this side where the tree was able to get some nutrients going up. This probably won't wind up being a really solid tree. In the future, it'll probably kind of hollow in the middle, die out and fall. Probably die prematurely, but at least it's hanging on for now, so I do want to get some guards on there. That looks a little better. It doesn't go very far now that the tree's getting a lot thicker. I can't put my hand around it anymore, but that should help until I get some soap out here. The soap, the Irish Spring, is just a really strong smelling soap, and the deer don't like that, so it keeps them away. But for now, at least if one comes and rubs up on it, there's a little bit of protection there. I do have two more really flimsy ones. These are pretty brittle, but I have another tree over here that I will put some on. This one's not super straight, so I think I'll still be able to get it on there, at least this main stem here, so that should help it out. And that is better than nothing, just until I get some soap out here. Once again, if they come and rub up on it, this one's pretty flimsy, they could probably take it off, but hopefully they won't. I had a tulip tree in the other far side back of the property, but after that first year, the deer came and rubbed on it and killed it. They ringed it pretty low, but I don't know, maybe that much toward the ground they didn't get. So that much of the tree's alive, everything above it died. I just snapped most of it off this year, but there's actually little sprigs coming off the bottom, so we'll see what it turns into. It'll probably be a bushy little tulip tree, but it's farm, doesn't have to be a real pretty tree. I do have trees planted all up here in this thick weed stuff because I do want to turn this into a wooded section, so there's at least 10 plus, if there's probably plenty more than 10, but they're smaller. Some are maybe up to, I don't know, probably waist height. So we're getting there. Beautiful evening. Chickens are done. Meat birds, I got to get them done hopefully this weekend. And that's the plan, at least. Always busy with something, but got to take care of some things. So that, I got some work to do on the bees. A lot of work to do in the garden, just cleaning it up, getting ready for next year, and all the winter coops. So a lot of projects still left, and I'd like to do more now versus later when it's cold, because I do not like cold weather, so prefer to work when it's a little warmer out. The plastic on these are pretty brittle. You can see it's already ripping in some spots, so definitely need to redo all that. And the insides are crazy right now. You can see my tomatoes. This is like a greenhouse going in here. We've even got some ripe tomatoes in there, you can see, so it's quite crazy. Check it out. Can't even get in there because there's so many plants, but you can see there's tons and tons and tons of tomatoes, which is nice, but also hard to get in there because there's so many right now, but that's pretty cool. Same thing kind of over here, just super thick, but not quite as crazy as the other coop. We did smash some of them down because I had to get in there and get straw bales, so it doesn't look as great, but still quite a bit. I fed the chickens a lot of garden scraps, so that's why we get a lot grown in there. Same with the hoops, tons of tomatoes grown in there. The two that I had chicks in, there's nothing in there, but the other ones, lots of tomatoes.